Active FM. Radio has never been better.
What is up?
Hey, what's up?
This is the movie show.
Here on your favorite
Radio station online podcasting service.
Yeah. And my name is Ryan.
I am Sash.
And you're tuned in.
And we have kept our word.
Yes, we've done what we said that we would do. We went and watched a very boring movie. Now you know my take already.
According to Ryan's recommendation.
Damn, he was so young. Leonardo DiCaprio. Did you see how young he
was? Young. He was very
like,
young.
Did he even have a beard? I think I calculated. I think he was like 27 years old. Because he's 47 now.
He looked younger.
Yeah, he's 47 now. So work it out, do the math, because I can't, because don't want to do my math right now.
When was the movie made?
No, he's 47 now. Oh,
yeah.
96.
96.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Now we have to do maths. 96, 2006,
Comment below.
2016.
So, this movie was...
Isn't it 26 years later? Right? Anyone with me? No? Okay, he was in his 20s-ish, people.
I believe you.
He was good looking. That's all that matters. He's very good looking.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Ryan's like, eh.
So I battled because of the language. And remember, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't have an excuse why I thought it... Look, it is good.
It's an interesting
Do you
concept.
think they did it to the book?
I was thinking they did, but I don't think...
Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Comment below.
I never did. I never did Romeo and Juliet
guys,
as set work in school.
If you guys scroll down, in fact, if you look on your right-hand side of this video, if you're on YouTube, there is a comment section. You click on the area where it says enter or insert text here, and you type your comment. It's free. You press enter, and we will see your comment. Do you ever see the comment section?
Yes.
And does anybody comment?
There have been people that comment.
Oh, okay. Hello.
So you're not even looking.
Hi.
Sis, right.
It's not my job.
Can I just say, I would like to get this out in the open before we even go ahead with anything. I would like to add that I absolutely, like, there's no extreme word that I could possibly use. Like, whatever, like, the extreme of absolutely, positively, wholeheartedly, passionately, hate.
Hold the thought.
Hate Romeo and Juliet. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't even... I was irritated. That was my experience. Irritation.
I was thinking to myself, okay, hang on. Let's look past. What is the lesson to be learned?
There's no lesson.
There is a lesson.
What's the lesson?
There's family dispute. The one guy said something interesting. That his friend, he was like, "May a curse be upon your house." No, it wasn't him.
No, it wasn't.
But that was brilliant, though. I liked how he said that. The way they shot was awesome. No, it was the chief police guy.
No, he also said it when he was dying.
What did he say? He said something about the fact that your hate... I forgot the word. It was so good. I was like, there it is.
So in other words, don't hate.
Something about...
Love, don't hate.
The hate between the family has caused the greatest love, or something awesome, something deep. I'm sorry, I should have written that down. I didn't write that down.
So you're saying that hate
But why did
creates
Shakespeare
love.
write this? Why?
Because he was sad and he'd been broken up with. And he was desperate for... I don't know. But I hate Romeo and Juliet. I actually hate it.
Yeah.
No. I hate Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
I hate every adaptation, every story,
And
every...
This was... Okay, at this time... So now, I think there's been 4 films out about... That people have actually taken the time and done a movie about Romeo and Juliet. And
Really? There's 4 of them?
Yeah. Well, according to Google, so this was the 3rd one. Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, the 1990.
Sixth version.
Is 96 or 2006?
Oh, wait, isn't it 2006?
I think it was 2006. And then
No!
It might have been 96.
I think it was 96.
Okay,
I think
Google.
it was 96.
I just said someone's... Okay. Yeah. And I think there's a reason why there's been only a third, the third. And then obviously I think... If you have to count in West Side Story, that technically makes...
Well, West Side Story...
Adds on another 2. Well, another 1. So
2.
5.
There were 2 films.
Yes. So 2 plus 3.
No, I don't like... No. There's a reason. I realized
And
there's a
they're no
reason
good.
I don't watch the Romeo and Juliet films.
Yeah. And this ending wasn't better. It was just... rain.
Can I be honest? I don't
end.
want to watch it because,
No.
like, you know what's going to happen. So the only reason I watched West Side Story was number 1, Steven Spielberg. Number 2, I was like, maybe. And then I also, ignorance is bliss. I didn't know.
The only reason why I watched this because I didn't know. I knew, but I was ignorant. I forgot what you had said.
Okay, so we're going to do a comparison because this is a comparison show. So
Yes,
the
that's
reason
what
we
we're
watched the Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is because it's a comparison. But I want to say I agree with Ryan. I half the time did not know what they were speaking about. I was like...
Does thy death come to the curtain? What the... What? And you're just like... You're picking up keywords and you're like...
Like I'm going to go
like
with
very
these
expressful.
ones to say he loves
Wow.
her.
Very expressful. What was the one thing she said? When he dies, may he be cut up into many pieces and be put in the sky. So that everyone will gaze at the stars and prefer the stars over the sun. I was like, wow. I was like, sure. That's hectic, eh? That's literally what she said.
Yeah, no, it is.
I was just like,
Wow.
damn.
Okay, so we're doing a comparison. So the first question is, do we prefer between West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, and Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet? Do we prefer how they met in West Side Story or how they met in Romeo and Juliet? So in West Side Story, obviously they were at the dance. He saw her across the room. Everything stood still. They went behind the benches and then they danced. Whereas in Romeo and Juliet, he was in the bathroom. He was looking at the fishes in the tank. And then he
So
saw an
was she.
eye.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, wow. Okay, Ryan, so
Yeah.
which one do you prefer?
You know what's crazy is that did you see the similarities in the characters
Yeah.
between both
No,
of
you
them?
definitely can see
It was
that.
pretty good though the way they did that. Though.
Yes, you can see that West Side Story is taken or inspired
Yeah.
by Romeo and Juliet. Even like the characters, everything. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's that guy. Oh, that's that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because like they both really weren't part of what their families were doing.
Yeah.
Didn't she come across to you as someone who was very like not there?
Yeah.
Because what was it? Her nana, Juliet. Like the whole time you're like, wow, sure, that's pretty. And then for him also, he was just like, he wasn't part of what the family was doing. He was just like there, like just whatever, floating around, whatever sort of
For
stuff.
me, that's the stupid part about the fact that he ends up killing. Because it's like, but you weren't even there. You weren't even involved.
Yeah.
You were like out there and then
But
you
he was
got
trying
involved.
to make peace, and same with the other
Yeah,
one.
he was trying to make peace and he ended up killing someone.
And then West Side Story, both of them like their best friends basically got killed.
Got killed and then that's what set them off.
Yeah, I don't understand though in this one how it's like I know it was probably a deep scratch.
Yeah, no, that was very weird.
But like he died pretty quickly. Like
and even
usually with a scratch like that, you bleed a lot more. Like either you're gonna bleed a lot and bleed to death, but he didn't bleed. So or maybe like okay, he left it for a couple days and then he got fever.
yeah,
and
got
then
infected.
Nothing. It's just a scratch, and then like you see, okay, it's a bit bad, and then bleh.
Curse your family. I
Curse out both your families. Look, the acting was really good.
Okay, no, wait, right. Which one
But
did you
anyway.
prefer? How they met
Wait,
in West
oh,
Side Story
yes,
or
yes.
in Romeo and Juliet?
Yes.
I have my answer. Would you like me to give my answer?
Yeah. Wait, no, because it might change my answer. Because I might be like, that's actually a good point. I changed my answer. I think I prefer in this with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Romeo and Juliet.
Because there was a bit there was a bit more
Oddly enough,
romance to it. Was a bit more deeper. It was
I agree with you.
yes. The other one was just like
Yeah, the other one was just like he saw her,
Oh, okay.
and then they were behind by the benches, and then they were dancing, and then she just leaped in for a kiss, and you're like, woman,
yeah.
do you just kiss every stranger you meet? What the hell's wrong with you? Yeah,
Where in this one,
there was a bit more depth to it. Yeah.
Romeo did, but it was like the whole fish.
You know what I liked? I liked the whole opposite ends of the fish tank.
Yeah.
For me, that was cool. The way
Yeah.
they did that creatively.
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you know that with cinematographer Donald McAlpine,
That guy.
he was actually faced a real problem when it came to filming this scene, because what would happen was the reflections of the water and the glass of the tank were almost impossible to light without causing all sorts of toward reflections, which
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, you see the camera, you see the lighting dude, you see the whatever. So he solved the problem by inserting a couple of fluorescent tubes into the tank out of the camera's eye line, and they were the sole source of light in the scene.
That's brilliant.
Right?
Note to self.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. But they were actually, I don't know if you saw the behind the scenes stuff.
Not really.
There's the one shot that I didn't know that they did this, but like, okay, they're kissing and like there's this background, like I don't know what it was, like this wall, but the camera's going around them.
Oh, okay.
But the walls were quite close. Like, did you ever think about how they did that?
No.
So apparently they had the background on these swinging doors.
What?
So it was literally like, okay, picture a sphere,
Mm-hmm.
a sphere, and the sphere's broken up into sections of doors. And then the camera would be on the one side, and wherever the camera was, the guys would lift the doors up. And then the camera was on a dolly, and it was rotating around. But as they were going, guys would have to lift doors and bring
But
them
didn't
down
that
again.
happen fast?
Yeah, and it was slow, then it got fast. So these guys were lifting doors, bringing down. They had to bring the door down. By the time the camera was on the opposite end, that door had to be down and still. And the guys were working fast. They had all
insane.
and they did it. They pulled, and I was like, I didn't even know they did like that. Like that is problem, like not problems, like yes, problem solving.
It is problem solving.
Like
yeah.
the way they did, I'm like that.
I feel
wow.
like that would have all been like automated nowadays. Like, you would have had it set up on a whole bunch of robot.
I didn't even think about that background thing.
I want to actually go look. Like,
If you're
Shay,
watching,
we didn't even give.
if you're watching the movie show podcast on Active TV,
You'll be showing.
Yeah, it's
There
just
we
being
go.
shown. Brilliant.
Okay, next question. Which gangs do you prefer? So, do you prefer the gangs in West Side Story, which were what were the names again?
The Capulets.
No, that's Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
Was the Montagues and
Yes,
the
the Capulets. I can't remember what the other.
West
guys-
Side Story was the. Oh man, we did the show last week. Okay, yeah, those dudes. There was the Puerto Rican gang,
Mhm.
and then there was
the Jets, the Sharks, and the Jets.
Yes, thank you, the Sharks and the Jets.
There you go.
Okay, I'm answering first this time.
Yes.
So I preferred the gangs in West Side Story. Honestly, in Romeo and Juliet, the gangs were weird. They were whack. They were just like, okay. And there was that dude that was wearing that bedazzled skirt and stuff in Romeo and Juliet. I was just like, oh, okay. I don't know what is happening
I felt
here.
very awkward.
Right?
I'm
But
there, I'm
then
like, and my kids
also-
are watching. I was like, right.
Okay, that's a man wearing a mini skirt and a bra. Yay! Bedazzled, by the way. But anyway, I preferred West Side Story, and I also felt like West Side Story gave more character depth to the gang. So like I connected with Riff as a character, and I connected with Bernardo, and also they had that whole office sequence where the boys from the Jets were singing, and
Yeah.
I really liked the gangs from West Side Story, even the way they dressed them. The color coordination, and just, yeah, I felt like I connected with the gangs more in West Side Story.
Yeah. I think what we're talking about here is two different eras of gangs. Because, yeah, it's two different completely time zones.
But they were also just wacko. Like, they
Yeah.
were weird.
I liked, except for the guy in the
So which gangs did you prefer?
the Romeo and Juliet.
Serious?
Yeah, definitely. Just because they were a lot more hardcore. The guns, the way they were like I really... Yeah, they were cool. Like the shirts that they wore, the difference in the way that they wore, the way.
So you like the style?
Yeah, and
okay,
besides-
you see, I like the style of the gangs.
Yeah, definitely. And there was that actor, the cousin that died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually like him. He's a comedian, and
Oh, really? I
he-
didn't recognize him.
he is quite comical. The cousin that died. Yeah,
Hectic.
right.
Yeah, it was her cousin.
You know, I'm talking about the cousin that died.
her cousin that
Yes,
died.
yeah, that's
He
it.
was DiCaprio shot him.
That's it.
Romeo shot him
Mm-hmm.
into the fountain.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Which death method was better? So, okay, there's a couple of death methods to take into consideration here. So in West Side Story, there was knives, which Riff... So Riff got stabbed by Bernardo, and then what was his name again? Oh my goodness, I forgot all the names in West Side Story.
Yeah, the guy.
Ansel Elgort's character... No, his name's gone, right?
Tony.
Thank you.
Tony.
He stabbed Bernardo, and then at the end, Tony gets shot. And then that was the end of the death, right? Yeah. Okay, in Romeo and Juliet, it's a little bit more complex. So the weird best friend dude that was wearing the bedazzled skirt, he got cut by a piece of glass. Then the next person to die was the cousin who got shot by Romeo.
Yeah.
Then Juliet dies in inverted commas, obviously because she drinks that poison that the priest gives.
Yeah.
But then obviously comes back
Did
to
you see how
life.
close they missed the mailman? I didn't remember seeing that. When I saw this, I'm like, what? So
That's
close.
what irritated
And it
me.
happened twice. Eh?
Yes.
It happened twice. The first time the mail guy was right
But
there.
you don't mail such information to
That's
people.
what I was thinking. And I can't remember. And then after that, there was another time.
And
yes, the
even
guy that came to the
even when Romeo's now crying over Juliet, the amount of times she did something where she touched him or just
the hand moved or the eye twitched. I mean,
that's
surely
that's why I was irritated.
by that time, I mean, surely her body would have had a bit more warmth.
To it.
But anyway, that's the story. It's Romeo and
Okay,
Juliet.
then
you know?
so Juliet, sorry, Romeo then drinks that poison that instantly kills him, and then Juliet shoots herself in the head. So those are the different deaths. So methods that were better, I vote Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, I'm going for West Side Story. Yeah.
What?
It was quick and simple, man.
Okay, I'm going for Romeo and Juliet
Yeah.
because it was creative
It was-
and like there were a lot of different options. Like we had a lot to choose from.
It was just so pulled. It was just really stretched, Dave.
What in Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah,
no,
the whole
stretched.
thing, and I'm just like, aye. The other one was, like I said, I commented in our last show, like if you're gonna shoot someone, bah, done.
And even like the stabbing, like you didn't see it coming. Like it was because you know, like Anton tried to stop Riff, and
Yeah.
then Riff literally turned
And he was
around.
getting
And
beaten.
yes, as he turned around, Bernardo like came for like that. Almost looked like a mistake,
Yeah.
but then he stabbed him like right in the heart. It was
Yeah.
like, oops, like oh flip,
I
can't
was-
undo that.
I was like, okay, the other guy might be fine. That's not gonna be fine. He's dead.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
Because I think the other guy was more stomach up,
yeah.
and then the yes.
And then Bernardo gets stabbed, and then so I suppose, but I'm going for death method. There was a lot to choose from in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
They had like poison. Okay. Next one. Which death was more painful? But now there's a whole lot of deaths to take in consideration here. There's Romeo and Juliet. There was the cousin of Juliet, and then there was Romeo's best friend I can't remember his name now.
That guy.
Martuccio.
Some weird names,
I think
yeah.
it was Martuccio or something like that.
Definitely taken from the script. Yeah.
Then in West Side Story, you have Riff, Bernardo, and then you have Tony. So who was the most painful death for your own? Which one hurt the most as an audience?
I would say West Side Story.
Uh-huh.
The first guy to
Yes!
die.
That's
Because from there,
Riff.
everything just bleh.
No, but you also know why. Because of how he died. So he got stabbed, and then Tony obviously grabbed him, and then he almost like, it was almost like he was saying to Tony, I always knew I was going to die young. Like I always knew this was my fate. Oh no, it was so sad.
Yeah.
That one was, for me, that was the most painful death. It was the one I was most like, and then from there I was just like, okay, everyone's going to die now. Let us watch as everyone dies.
That's how I felt. I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I guess that's this done. This film is
yeah.
going down now.
Okay. Next question. Which film experience did you enjoy more? Honestly, West Side Story. And the reason is I loved the production. I loved the set design, the lighting, the cinematography, the choreography, the music, I loved. The only thing I didn't like about West Side Story was the fact that people died. That was it. Like it was the only thing I was like, ugh, about. Otherwise, I loved West Side Story. That's why I said I loved the film, but I hated the film.
Yeah, I've got to say West Side Story.
Romeo and Juliet was weird. I was just like, this is a weird movie. This is very weird. Yeah. So West Side Story, better experience.
Maybe it's because I didn't realize it was Romeo and Juliet.
When you watched it.
Yeah, I was sort of just going on, okay, this guy, that guy, okay,
Look,
cool.
yeah, I suppose also with me, with West Side Story, I kind of hoped that it was just like okay, this is like
At least she didn't die.
yeah, there we go. She didn't die. So, yeah. Okay, which movie was more emotional for you?
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet.
Really?
Definitely.
I said West Side Story.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the whole thing was just.
You know why? For me, West Side Story,
They dramatized
honestly,
it.
I felt like I connected with the characters better. With Romeo and Juliet, I kind of got the feeling that everything was rushed. That's just how I felt.
But the whole movie is like this action, really dramatic.
That's the thing. So I feel like in West Side Story, you connect with the characters more on like a personal level, which is why I felt like it was more emotional when people died, because you'd actually made this is just me. I'd actually made a connection with like Riff. I'd made a connection with him, even though he was like stupid at times. Bernardo, I'd made a connection. So like when people died, it was like, because you actually like kind of knew them. Whereas West Side, I mean, Romeo and Juliet's like, I think the saddest death was Romeo and Juliet's, because those were the two characters that you connected the most with.
Yeah, but also if you look at the two type of films, West Side Story was a more sort of you felt more sort of there was more of a foundation.
Yeah.
Whereas Romeo and Juliet, everything was just loose.
Yeah.
Everything you just knew something's gonna fall and then that thing's gonna break. You just knew. It was like you were driving in a fast car with China sets, whereas West Side Story was more settled, like
on a table having tea. I also feel like they went for more of
having coffee, actually. Having coffee.
You said tea. A tea set, a China set.
Yes, a China set.
There we go. I don't think you drink coffee in China set.
You can.
Oh, we should try it.
You can.
But I think also like it was very abstract. Like Romeo and Juliet was very, very abstract, which is probably why we also didn't like connect with it on like an emotional level.
It was just played like everything was like what do they call it? Risk. Everything was just risk.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Which film brought you closer to tears?
None of them.
Yeah, my answer, this is literally my answer. I'll even show you right.
I'm just like...
My answer is neither. I was irritated.
Yeah.
I literally was irritated. Like that's why I said I hate Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. I got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to watch this. Like, I know what's gonna... They all die. What's the point? What is the point? Life is meaningless.
I think everybody wants a happy ending, yeah.
Yeah. Especially when...
And you don't even know what happened after their death.
Yeah.
It's just
you really don't.
It's just like the end.
In either stories, you don't know what happened.
Well, they died.
Okay, last question. And then we'll give you some quick few trivia notes. Which film would you watch again?
Neither.
Really?
Neither.
Okay, my answer is I would watch West Side Story again, but I might stop after Riff dies. I might be like, okay, cool. It was a nice ride. But I would watch it, and the only reason was I really enjoyed the production. Like, I honestly really enjoyed it.
Well, they were likable characters in there, I suppose. Leonardo, like, none of them were likable.
Yeah.
They were just all sort of...
They were full of passion and desire.
That's the word. Everything's like bang, bang. Okay,
so... Just to give you some trivia notes, though, on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, it's directed by Baz Luhrmann, who is apparently an Australian director.
Yeah, mate.
He also directed The Great Gatsby. I would rather watch The Great Gatsby over this.
Yeah,
and he directed Moulin Rouge, which was a very weird movie. That was a very weird movie. I don't even think I finished watching that film. Me and my sister were just like, okay, never mind. Australia, I haven't actually watched Australia, but I know of it because of Nicole Kidman. However, there is a movie coming out that I am looking forward to. However, because he's the director, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I like his style. But then The Great Gatsby was good. So I think we'll be fine.
And that had Leonardo DiCaprio in
it as well, yeah.
I think that was done after this one. So
no, way after.
Is it?
Great Gatsby's, it was made in 2013. It was released 2013.
But did he do any other films before that? Because what I picked up was that he liked Leonardo DiCaprio, so he was like, hey, mate, I want to have you on for another movie.
Moulin Rouge was 2001. It didn't have Leonardo DiCaprio in it. Australia was 2008. Also didn't. Yeah. Okay, so the next film he's bringing out, it's coming out this year, it's being released on the 24th of June, is called Elvis, and it is based on Elvis Presley, and I'm actually so excited for it. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that one. He's gotten Austin Butler to play Elvis Presley, and I'm looking forward to that film. But just two trivia notes. So number one, do you know that Leonardo DiCaprio fought for Claire Danes, who played Juliet, to win the role of Juliet after she impressed him with her line delivery and the fact that she was the only actress in auditions to look him straight in the eye.
Oh.
Suppose for ladies of that time, it was not an easy thing to look Leonardo DiCaprio straight in the eye.
Okay.
Yeah. And then second and last, the majority of sets were built from scratch. In order to achieve the film's unique look, the Sycamore Grove Theatre and huts on Verona Beach were actually, this is crazy, they were actually destroyed by a hurricane during filming, and the beginning of the hurricane is evident during Mercutio's death scene. Many pickup shots had to be filmed elsewhere, but you could actually, I don't know if you remember
right.
that in the film.
The wind started blowing.
Yes, I was still like, sure, they like really went with the weather. Like,
I was feeling for his wound. I was like, yep, there's a lot of sand in there now.
yeah, but that's crazy, right? Like the start of a hurricane was started while they were filming.
So once they died, they pack up quick, let's go, and then they had to pack up and leave, right?
Yeah. Okay, the only thing I'm going to say I liked from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, right, is the music. The music was good.
Yeah.
That was it. I don't know if I liked anything else.
Okay.
That for me, that was the best part of the film.
What was with the choir boys singing modern music?
Not that part.
Okay.
I'm talking about like the score.
Yeah, no.
There was a specific song that was very nice. Yeah.
No, that was cool. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, no, it was a very weird film.
Yeah.
I honestly would not say. You don't
have to go watch it.
Don't go watch it.
Just take our word for it.
Yeah.
Well, probably. Well, if you haven't watched it by now,
don't. There's other things like Elvis, you know, the Batman.
Plus our film that we'll be doing next week.
The film we're doing. I'm so excited. It's such a good film. Ryan hasn't watched it yet.
I've had 3 people come to me
and tell you to watch it.
Have you seen the Netflix? Blah, 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 blah.
The reason I wanted to watch it, I saw it a couple of weeks ago. So it's directed by Sean Levy, who directed Free Guy and Stranger Things. It's got Ryan Reynolds in it, and it's got Zoe Saldana. So it's so good, and the story is so good. And Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see another character in this film, by the way?
Paul Rudd.
Is that the guy from...
That's Ant-Man.
Yes, that's it. I saw him like, no, man. Who's this guy?
Yep, Ant-Man is in Romeo and Juliet.
And he's such a
he's
nerd.
Paris. But there was no, his character's name was Paris. There was no depth. That's why, like, I didn't connect with anyone.
At least
the most emotional scene was when oh my goodness, when Juliet, when Juliet says goodnight to her mom, but the night that she knows she's going to fake her death, it means that it's the last time her mom is going to see her. That for me was the most emotional part.
She thought that
because she did die after that. Yeah.
And then,
yeah, for me that was the
I didn't even realize that. Now that you just said that, I'm like, oh my word. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was the most emotional part.
That was the last time.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
I'm glad that during that part they didn't. In fact, it probably would have made it more impactful. You know, where she faked her death and like how they did their like time lapse over to the next morning.
Yeah.
Like you didn't see anybody else. You just saw the priest there. And he's like in his plan. He's like, quick, slip the bottle away. Looks at the time, checks up. You see her laying there, stiff. Put in the thing. It's a good thing. And like the funeral was so unemotional. It's like just this like
those panning shots
like,
over the
track across.
But shame. Then again, the mom was very teary. So
it was just like okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, don't go watch them. They're not worth it. Do something better with your life.
Yeah.
Live. Unlike Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, enjoy.
I hate Romeo and Juliet. I'd like to end this podcast saying I hate Romeo and Juliet.
I would like to say that we've officially okay. So I guess what you're trying to say is that if you had a choice between watching a Dwayne Johnson movie and Romeo and Juliet, you would watch?
I wouldn't watch it at all. I wouldn't watch it. I'd just sit there thinking about my life and how good it is without Romeo and Juliet and Dwayne Johnson.
So
okay, fine. I'll choose one of the best film. Okay, Red Notice wasn't too bad because there was Ryan Reynolds in it. But one of the best films with Dwayne Johnson, there is actually a film I did enjoy with Dwayne Johnson in it, but now I can't remember it.
Tooth Fairy.
I think it was the Tooth Fairy. I watched the Tooth Fairy, but I watched it for the tall, skinny dude with blonde hair.
There you go. All right, there you have it, folks. Something that you learned every week.
There we go.
Okay, so I guess it's safe to say that if anybody had to ask us, what's your worst movie? Romeo and Juliet. There it is.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Any adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
All right, so now that we've done that and we've got over, so there's a 1964 version that we'll be watching for next week.
No, we won't.
Joking.
I will not be doing that. Ryan will be alone.
Maybe it'll be
show.
better.
No, I'm not. I'm not even going to give it a try.
I'll come back like this.
Yeah, Ryan will just be depressed. I'll be like, okay, guys, so I watched.
And it was brilliant. Ryan, what did you think?
They died again. It's an endless loop of death.
You see?
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go on and live now very nicely and
So-
go and watch nice things.
So next week,
Yes, next week,
the
the Adam Project.
there you go. That one.
Ryan Reynolds,
So you.
Sean Levy.
So all of you have time to watch it, right? Even you guys. All of
There
you
we
have-
go.
Yeah.
No, we're spoiler
Yes.
alerting people
Yes,
in a week's time.
that's right.
Yes, all right. But for now, we are signing out.
Till next week.
Peace.
Cheers.